Imagine looking up at the night sky, really looking, seeing not just twinkling lights, but destinations, seeing possibilities. Imagine looking at the car you drive, not just as transport, but as part of a fundamental shift in how we power our world. This isn't science fiction. This is the landscape shaped by the relentless drive of one individual, Elon Musk. And while the rockets and the cars are spectacular, the real power, the thing we can all tap into, lies in the mindset. The sheer, unyielding force of will that takes seemingly impossible ideas and hammers them into reality. This isn't just about building companies. It's about building a future. And more importantly, it's about understanding the raw potential that lies dormant within each of us. What fuels such ambition? It starts with thinking bigger, much bigger. We're often conditioned to think incrementally. How can we make this 10% better? How can we improve slightly on what exists? Musk challenges that. He asks fundamental questions. Why can't we be a multiplanetary species? What are the essential requirements for human survival and flourishing in the long term? The answer isn't just about improving Earth. It's about hedging our bets, ensuring the light of consciousness doesn't get extinguished by a single planetary event. That's a goal so massive, so audacious, it almost sounds absurd. But absurdity is often the birthplace of breakthroughs. Think about SpaceX. The goal wasn't just to launch satellites cheaper. It was to make life multiplanetary. Mars, a self-sustaining civilization on another world. That's the North Star. Everything else, the reusable rockets, the Starlink constellation, they are steps towards that monumental objective. Similarly, Tesla wasn't just about building a cool electric car. It was about accelerating the world's transition to sustainable energy, recognizing the existential threat of climate change and tackling it head-on with products people would desire. It's about fundamentally shifting a century-old paradigm of fossil fuels. These aren't small adjustments. They are revolutions disguised as companies. This scale of thinking is the first lesson. Don't just aim for the fence. Aim for the stars. Literally. Ask yourself, what is the biggest, most impactful version of your dream? What is the ultimate why behind what you do? It's this grand vision that provides the fuel to overcome the inevitable, soul-crushing obstacles that lie ahead. Without a compelling reason, a purpose larger than yourself, the sheer difficulty of innovation will wear you down. Find your Mars. Find your sustainable future. What is the grand challenge that ignites your passion? But having a big dream is just the starting point. Ideas are cheap. Execution is everything. And execution, in the Musk playbook, demands an almost inhuman level of work ethic. Forget work-life balance in the conventional sense. We hear stories of 100-hour work weeks, sleeping on the factory floor, pushing teams to the absolute brink during critical periods like the Tesla Model 3 production ramp-up, famously termed production hell. Is this healthy? Is it sustainable for everyone? Probably not. But it highlights a crucial point. Extraordinary results require extraordinary effort. You cannot achieve revolutionary change by working ordinary hours with ordinary intensity. There's a simple, brutal math to it. If someone else is working 50 hours a week and you're working 100, you will achieve in 6 months what takes them a year, assuming you're working on the same problem with similar effectiveness. It compresses timelines. It forces breakthroughs through sheer, relentless pressure. This isn't just about logging hours. It's about focused intensity. It's about being deeply immersed in the problem, understanding every facet, from the highest level strategy down to the smallest engineering detail. Musk is known for his deep technical understanding, acquired through voracious reading and direct engagement with his engineers. He doesn't just delegate, he dives in. He asks the hard questions. He pushes for solutions others deem impossible. This dedication sends a powerful message throughout the organization. This matters. This is urgent. We are all in this together, pushing the limits. While we may not all need to work 100-hour weeks, the principle remains. Achieving significant goals requires significant focused effort. Complacency is the enemy. Good enough is never good enough when you're trying to change the world. What level of effort are you truly willing to commit to your most important goals? Are you treating them with the urgency they deserve? Coupled with this intense work ethic is a unique approach to problem solving, reasoning from first principles. This is perhaps one of the most powerful yet underutilized tools in his arsenal. Most people reason by analogy. We do things because they've always been done that way, or because that's how others are doing it. First principles thinking requires you to break down a problem into its most fundamental, irreducible truths, the things we know to be true, and reason up from there. Take rocket costs. Historically, rockets were incredibly expensive and single-use. Reasoning by analogy would mean trying to make existing designs slightly cheaper. Reasoning from first principles asks, what is a rocket actually made of? Aerospace-grade aluminum alloys, copper, titanium, carbon fiber. What is the cost of those materials on the commodity market? It turns out the material cost is only about 2% of the typical price of a rocket. This immediately tells you that the vast majority of the cost is in manufacturing, design, and processes. It opens the door to thinking, how can we radically rethink the design and manufacturing to get closer to that fundamental material cost? And crucially, how can we reuse the expensive parts? This thinking led directly to SpaceX's reusable rocket technology, dramatically lowering the cost of space access. The same applies to batteries for electric cars. People said batteries are inherently expensive and always will be. First principles thinking asks, what are batteries made of? Cobalt, nickel, aluminum, lithium, polymers, steel casing. What's the market cost of those raw materials? Again, if you sum them up, the cost is far lower than the finished battery pack price. This points towards opportunities in optimizing the supply chain, the cell chemistry, the manufacturing process, like the gigafactories, and the pack design to drive down costs relentlessly. This method forces you to abandon preconceived notions and challenge assumptions. It allows you to see possibilities that are invisible when you're trapped in analogical thinking. Apply this to your own challenges. What are the fundamental truths of your situation? What are the base elements? Forget how things are currently done. If you were starting from scratch, based only on the physics or the core principles, how would you build it? This approach is a superpower for innovation. Of course, pursuing audacious goals with intense effort and unconventional thinking inevitably leads to encountering failure. Spectacular failure, often. SpaceX saw multiple rockets explode dramatically on the launch pad or during ascent in the early days. Each failure cost millions and represented a significant setback. Tesla has faced multiple near-death experiences, from the original Roadster challenges to the Model 3 production hell, where the company was reportedly weeks away from bankruptcy. Musk himself has spoken about the immense stress, the feeling of staring into the abyss. But the key isn't avoiding failure, it's how you respond to it. Failure is not the opposite of success, it's a stepping stone towards it. Each rocket explosion provided invaluable data. Each production bottleneck revealed flaws in the manufacturing system. The critical element is resilience, the ability to analyze the failure objectively, Learn the lessons quickly, iterate on the design or process, and get back up to try again, armed with new knowledge. Musk emphasizes the importance of having a high tolerance for pain and a stomach for risk. Setbacks are guaranteed when you're operating at the edge of possibility. Doubt, both internal and external, will be constant. Critics are loud and plentiful. The media often focuses on the negatives. You need an unwavering belief in your mission and the persistence to push through periods where everything seems to be going wrong. Think about the pressure during those early SpaceX launches. 3 consecutive failures. 1 more, and by his own account, the company would have been finished. Imagine the weight of that 4th launch attempt. Yet, they persisted. They analyzed, they adjusted, they launched again, and it succeeded. That persistence, that refusal to quit in the face of overwhelming odds, is a hallmark of his approach. How do you view failure? Is it an endpoint, or is it feedback? Are you willing to endure the discomfort and uncertainty that comes with pushing boundaries? Resilience isn't an innate trait. It's a muscle you build by facing adversity and choosing to continue. This resilience is intrinsically linked to embracing risk. You cannot achieve breakthroughs without taking significant risks. Musk famously invested his entire fortune from PayPal into SpaceX and Tesla, 2 ventures that most experts deemed doomed to fail. He was betting everything on highly uncertain outcomes. He wasn't just risking money. He was risking his reputation, his time, his future. Why? Because the potential upside, achieving those massive world-changing goals, justified the risk. This doesn't mean being reckless. The risks are calculated based on that first principles analysis. But it does mean being willing to operate outside the comfort zone, to make bold moves when others are hesitant. Progress requires venturing into the unknown. It requires a willingness to accept the possibility of failure as a price of admission for the chance at monumental success. This comfort with risk extends to decision-making. There's a bias towards action. Instead of endless analysis and meetings, the focus is on making decisions quickly, implementing them, and then correcting course based on real-world feedback. Speed is a weapon. In rapidly evolving fields like technology and space exploration, the ability to learn and adapt faster than competitors is crucial. This sometimes leads to mistakes, but the philosophy is that it's often better to make a decision and be wrong, and then fix it quickly, than to be paralyzed by indecision. Are you playing it too safe? Are there calculated risks you should be taking to accelerate your progress? Are you biased towards action, or do you let analysis paralysis hold you back? Underpinning all of this, the big dreams, the work ethic, the first principles thinking, the resilience, the risk-taking, is a deep sense of purpose and passion. Musk often talks about the why. Why push so hard? Why endure the stress? For him, it seems rooted in a desire to ensure the long-term survival and flourishing of humanity and consciousness. Making life multiplanetary is about safeguarding our species. Accelerating sustainable energy is about protecting our home planet. Developing beneficial artificial intelligence through Neuralink and his concerns about AI safety is about navigating a potentially existential technological transition. This profound sense of purpose provides the intrinsic motivation that transcends financial reward or public acclaim. It's the fire that keeps burning, even when faced with seemingly insurmountable challenges. Passion is the fuel for persistence. When you genuinely care about the outcome, when you believe deeply in the mission, the hard work doesn't feel quite as burdensome. The setbacks don't feel quite as devastating. You're driven by something larger than yourself. This is crucial for anyone aiming high. You need to find work that excites you, problems that you are genuinely passionate about solving? What gets you out of bed in the morning? What impact do you want to make on the world? Connecting with that deeper purpose will provide the emotional and mental fortitude required for the long, arduous journey of achieving something meaningful. Without passion, the inevitable difficulties will likely lead to burnout or abandonment. Find your why and let it drive you. Another vital component is the relentless pursuit of learning and improvement, driven by feedback loops. Musk is described as an information sponge, constantly reading, absorbing technical details, learning from experts across diverse fields. He famously taught himself rocket science. He immerses himself in the engineering challenges of his companies. This commitment to continuous learning is essential for staying ahead in rapidly advancing technological domains. But just learning isn't enough. You need to test your understanding against reality and actively seek out ways to improve. This means creating tight feedback loops. Build something, test it, get feedback, analyze the results, modify, and repeat. The faster you can cycle through this loop, the faster you improve. Crucially, Musk advocates for actively seeking negative feedback. He has stated that positive feedback feels good, but isn't particularly useful. Negative feedback, while harder to hear, is where the gold lies. Criticism highlights flaws, exposes blind spots, and points towards areas needing improvement. He encourages people to tell him what's wrong, not just what's right. This requires humility and a detachment from ego. It's about prioritizing the success of the mission over personal feelings. Are you actively seeking constructive criticism? Do you view negative feedback as an attack or as valuable data? Creating systems for rapid feedback and having the courage to listen to criticism, especially the uncomfortable kind, is a powerful accelerator for growth and innovation. Surround yourself with people who will challenge you, not just agree with you. So, what does this all mean for us? We may not be building rockets or revolutionizing the auto industry. Our goals may be different in scale and scope, but the underlying principles are universal. First, dare to dream big. Don't limit your ambitions based on perceived constraints or conventional wisdom. Think about the most impactful, meaningful contribution you can make. What's your equivalent of Mars? Second, understand that achieving those big dreams requires extraordinary effort. Be prepared to work hard, with focus and intensity. Embrace the grind. Third, challenge assumptions. Use first principles thinking to break down problems to their core truths and find innovative solutions. Don't just follow the herd. Reason from the ground up. Fourth, build resilience. Expect setbacks and failures. View them not as defeats, but as learning opportunities. Develop the mental toughness to persist through adversity. Refuse to give up on what truly matters to you. Fifth, be willing to take calculated risks. Step outside your comfort zone. Progress rarely happens in the realm of the safe and predictable. Make bold moves when necessary, and be biased towards action. Sixth, connect with your passion and purpose. Find what truly motivates you, what gives your work meaning beyond the mundane. Let that purpose fuel your efforts and sustain you through difficult times. Seventh, commit to lifelong learning and actively seek feedback, especially criticism. Be humble enough to know you don't have all the answers, and courageous enough to listen to those who point out your flaws. Embrace the iterative process of improvement. The story of Elon Musk is not just about one person's achievements. It's a testament to the power of human ambition, ingenuity, and perseverance. It demonstrates what becomes possible when you combine a grand vision with relentless execution, unconventional thinking, and an unwavering spirit. It challenges us to question our own limits, to push beyond what we thought was possible. It reminds us that the future is not something that simply happens to us. It is something we can actively create. The tools are there: the ability to dream, the capacity for hard work, the power of reason, the strength to endure, the courage to risk, the drive of passion, and the wisdom to learn. The question is, how will you use them? What impossible future will you choose to build? The journey won't be easy. There will be doubters. There will be failures. There will be moments when giving up seems like the only rational option. But as his trajectory shows, sometimes the most irrational-seeming goals, pursued with enough conviction and intelligence, can reshape reality. Think big, work hard, learn constantly, never give up. The potential within you is greater than you realize. Go unlock it.